What's going on, y'all? Welcome back. I wanted to talk today a little bit about something that's been real top of mind for the people around me and even myself. People around me have been feeling very uncertain, indecisive, out of alignment with who they believe their true self is, and maybe even questioning the folks that they have in their circles. Right. So if this sounds like you may benefit from defining and identifying your core values. So let's go ahead and level set. What are core values? Core values are a set of beliefs that ultimately guide our behaviors and our priorities, right? What are the things we really, really deeply care about and matter to us, right? And so how many of us actually take the time to dig deep into what those things are, and are we really living those out on a day-to-day basis? So if you know what your core values are, you'll be able to make better decisions. You're more firm in the direction that you're going. Even if it's not the right direction, at least you have some concrete steps and some direction, right? Like a compass, if you will. Even with the people around you, if your values are misaligned, your behaviors will be different, and ultimately you'll just continue to fall out of lockstep. Right. And so your values would allow you to not only step away from the folks that may not fit you anymore, but maybe hopefully find the people that do align better with who you are and who you want to be. I did create a core values workbook, and we'll be walking through in the rest of the video, so go ahead and stick with me. Step one is reflection. For anyone who has worked with me, my friends, clients, whoever, they know that I really, really highly value taking time to reflect. And so in this process, the core fundamental goal here is for you to think about times and situations where you were truly happy, right? Maybe you were leveraging your skill set. Maybe you were volunteering, or you engaging in hobbies, right? And so there are some questions in your workbook that you should be able to answer and walk through. I would recommend that you spend at least 10 to 15 minutes reflecting on these things. Don't focus too much on overthinking and trying to overanalyze the answers. Just write down what comes to mind and try to think about those times where you felt truly fulfilled and full of joy. What interest did you engage in that may be able to come back and return and provide you with a little bit of energy in this season, right? So think about those things, because it's going to be helpful for our next step. And now we're in step two. Here, this is our keyword exercise. So in your workbook, I bookmarked a link to about 300 plus words at the bottom of the document. I want you to go ahead and look through those core value words. And what you're gonna do is highlight the ones that stand out to you, all of them that stand out, right? You may end up with anywhere from 10 to 50 words. That's completely acceptable. Go ahead and just go through what stands out to you. Think about what they may mean to you in this season. Why are they important? Just kind of sit with that a little bit, right? And so the goal is for us to start off with this huge list of maybe 50 words or so, right? I know I ended up with like 30 myself, and trim it down to no more than 15 words. We have to leave this section with no more than 15 words. Right. And so it may take you several times to kind of pass through as you think about condensing those words. What are the words that maybe overlap and have similar meanings for you? And that's going to be even more important as we get into the next step in this process. Step three. Now you have your 15 words outlined, right? Maybe highlighted. Now you want to go ahead and take those 15 words, and we're going to trim them down to our 5 core values. I know that that's not a lot, but ultimately we don't want too many values because we'll be all over the place, right? You want to stay condensed. I recommend about 5 or 6 maximum. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the 5 values that stand out to you. Take a few minutes to figure out of those 15 words, what are the 5 that really, really stand out to you? Once again, what are the words that overlap, maybe can be condensed together and have similar meanings for you that you may not have to lose or cut out? Right? Maybe you could put it as part of a different word. For example, for some people, relationships, friendships, that falls under the idea or the core value of community. So figure out how you can go ahead and condense those words and hopefully make the process a little bit easier for you. Once you have your 5 words identified, underneath the initial table, there is a table for your 5 words. I want you to take them and put them in the table in your workbook. On the second column there, I want you to fill out a sentence, maybe a couple bullet points, whatever it is that can remind you of what that word and what that core value means to you. I've placed an example in your workbook. The value that I put in the workbook is respect, right? And what does respect mean to me as a core value is it's me being mindful about how I treat others, how I make others feel, and vice versa, and what I do when those requirements or those boundaries aren't met, right? So get down to your 5 core values, write them in that slot, and then fill out some sentences on what they mean. Then I want you to number them between 1 and 5. You can place them in the order that you'd like them, or you could leave them in a different order and just put a number next to the word, whatever works for you, but you need to prioritize them. Which one is number 1 and which one is number 5? I want you to also maybe journal a little bit or just jot down some notes on why that is the case. Why do you value respect over community, right? Or vice versa, whatever that may be. So here, the goal is for you to have your 5 core values identified. And if you want, you could ultimately stop here. You have your core values. You can take those and combine them with goal setting, with envisioning some level of your future, right? You can now utilize your core values to analyze the situations you've been experiencing and whether they align with who you are. That said, we are in step number 4, which is optional, but I highly, highly recommend. This is what I call a value share and feedback. Now, the goal here is for you to reach out to maybe 2 to 4 people that you very, very highly trust. Hopefully they're older than you. They are people that you really respect. You value their opinion and can have an honest conversation with real feedback. Now, it's incredibly important that you come in with a curious mindset, that you come in ready to engage and hear feedback that you may not be very happy with. So for example, if respect is one of my core values and I ask the person that I'm speaking to, my mentor, do I show up when we work together with respect as one of my highest values? They may say yes or no. And if they say no, ask for examples. Why? What have I done wrong? What can I do better? Right? What are the things that, and what are the ways that I could better align? And so some suggestions for those folks that you can identify, maybe a pastor, a deacon, maybe someone who runs your local church group, maybe a past professor, a past employer, if you have a good relationship with that manager, close family members, and even folks that I call friend-tors, right? Friends that are like very high-level thinkers and are going to challenge you and really push you to be the best you. So once you have those folks identified, I did place some questions in your workbook that could be helpful, but I also suggest that you spend some time thinking about what feedback do you want from these folks? What do you really want to change? What is it that is your priority in this season now that you have your core values identified, right? How can these folks be useful for you as you try to move forward and really create the life that you want? So there you have it. That's my personal core values process. I hope you found it helpful. Now you could take that and apply it to either your goals, apply it to your life, and figure out how you can live in more alignment with your values, which I think is just so important. I'll create more content in the future around how we can leverage these things. How do we integrate our values into our life and make sure that we are living by them day to day? That said, consider right now in the different facets of your life, whether it's like work, family, your hobbies, right? What type of leadership are you displaying, and are you displaying the core values that you hold dear? So think about those things as we continue to navigate life's challenges, and thank you for staying with me, and I hope that you found this helpful. Talk to you soon.